Today we're in the company of a phenomenal success story. Dean Graziosi is a multimillionaire, New York Times best-selling author.
Talking about over 1 million books sold total.
We have a living legend, Dean Graziosi.
We have a living legend when it comes to personal development.
You're talking about a man who's hundreds of millions of dollars in sales.
One of the biggest names in the history of this segment.
He's also reaching millions of people online and is live.
So much. You've impacted so many lives.
We literally booked this event because we wanted you to come speak at this event.
What I love about Dean is he's a genius at what he does, but the man, as corny as it sounds, he cares. It's easy to care verbally with your lips. He cares with the direction his feet move.
Hey guys, it's about 6 a.m. I'm on the top of Camelback Mountain.
What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? Just got done running the mountain.
Well, it's entrepreneurs like Dean that are helping make the world a better place.
What's even more remarkable is Dean
started by
dysfunctional home, rebuilding a trailer.
You're a powerful, big spirit.
Sometimes it takes someone seeing in you what you don't even see in yourself.
His ability to captivate and inspire people.
And so there's so much wisdom in there.
Incredible generosity and your enthusiasm.
Give it up for Dean. The man changed my life.
Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, my team puts that together to make me look really good before we start. Hey, it's good to see some faces here in Zoom. I know some of you are joining us on YouTube. Thanks for coming here with us today. You know, if you're here, you're probably someone like myself, like Tony, where you're looking for what's next, how to evolve, how to pivot. You know, this has been the craziest 12 months in my entire life, and that's why we're here today. The world has shifted. As Tony said about a month ago, he said, Humpty Dumpty broke, and who knows if it's going to go back together the same way, right? The world has shifted. And this is a time in life where we can get scared. We can get uncertain. We can play small. We could wait for the world to go back to the way it was, or we can be investigative reporters. We can explore. We can look for what's next. We can tap into that courage, that confidence, that next level that lives inside of us and do what I believe the world needs now more than ever. I believe the world needs role models and leaders, and it needs us to be the best version of ourselves. If you're here today, I already know that we're kindred spirits because there's a million things you could be doing. You're all busy. I see some of you, I get to see some of you on the screen. Matthew, I see it looks like you're at work or you're in a car, and some people are at home, and we have, just people from all over the world. I saw it in the chat. And I would bet to say it's because you know there's another level. You know that it sucks to be left behind as the world shifts. And that's what we're going to provide today. What we want to do is pull back the curtain on something that could shift your life, something that could allow you to tap into that next level, that full potential, to be that next level version of you. You know, Dale Carnegie, I love old school personal development stuff, but Dale Carnegie said something that always stuck with me, that the biggest plight of the human race is knowing that you have more potential and you're not utilizing it. More than anything, not the level of income, not the level of happiness, knowing you could just do more, be more, give more, be the man you were supposed to be the woman God designed you to be, or whoever you believe your maker is. And when you're not tapping into it, sometimes it's just that you're sick of that internal self-doubt telling you, we're not good enough. It's not the right time. You're an imposter. You're not smart enough. Your husband, your wife doesn't believe in you, right? I think it's time, especially now, that we say we can't listen to that voice. It's already cost you too much. The world has already cost you too much. And we all talk about the world getting better. And before I get into what we're going to share today, I also believe that we're a group of people that know that no one's coming to save us, right? There's no magic wand. There's no president or Congress or liberals or conservatives or Democrats or Republicans. There's nobody coming to wave a magic wand and everything be perfect and bliss and our chakras are aligned and our bank account fills up and we just have bliss and have 24 hours a day of vacation. We know that's not reality. So if that's not the case, if someone else isn't going to fix our world or the world in general, how do we do it? And we take ownership. And we fix the economy in our homes. We fix the conversations going on in our house. And we get to spread that. We are the ones that will change this world. We are the ones that fix this world. We are the ones that can choose to be role models, or we can choose to play small. And the last thing I'll say is I love the book, Who Moved My Cheese? It's a book so many people have read. If you've read Who Moved My Cheese, put it in the chat. And it's one of those books, if you didn't read it, you kind of get the concept. Two Mice, I'm going to paraphrase to make it really simple. It's a way better book. It should be on your list to read it. It's short. But a couple of mice, and cheese is brought to them all the time, and they're used to getting their cheese, and then all of a sudden the cheese stops coming. And eventually one mouse says, I'm waiting right here until my cheese comes back. And the other one's like, I'm out. I got to go explore and find new. When the world shifts like it has, so many people will cross their arms and say, someone needs to fix this. And most of the time, that's when you're left behind. That's when insecurity builds. That's when uncertainty builds. And someone else had to go out and investigate and find a new path. And that's scary sometimes. We have self-doubt. We question ourselves. Other people question us. But the adventurous mouse, the adventurous us, are the ones that find that next level. That's why I'm glad you landed here. And I have a little analogy about what we're going to share today that I think could really anchor in. And I'd love for you to be open-minded for the next 90 minutes. Tony will be on here later with a message he wants to share with you, my brother and partner, Tony Robbins. We got some great stuff to share today. But what if, think about this. What if there was a brand new iPhone or a brand new phone that came out, right? And it was cutting edge. It was awesome. And tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people wanted that phone really bad. And then all of a sudden you woke up one day and someone gave you an unlimited supply of those phones. Didn't charge you to warehouse it. Didn't charge you to have them in your inventory. And then you had the ability to sell them to people. Would that be exciting if you had an unlimited supply of something people wanted? Right? Put it in the chat. Would that be exciting, right? Now, I want you to look at it differently. The world has completely shifted. Self-education, people learning from other people, instead of going back to college, think about the last time you wanted to learn something. What did you do? Did you go back to college for it? Did you go to the library? Did you try to figure it out by just thinking? Or did you go online and Google it, right? The world is learning through others who've already been there. That's the self-education industry. That's the industry I've been in for 20-something years. Tony's been in for 4 years. But so many people are in, right? So what if that was exciting about that phone, what if you switched that? And what if you realized, and I wrote this last night when I was thinking about you guys, thinking about being live today, what if your experience in life, your mess that becomes your message, the journey you went through, the obstacles you went through, the creativity you discovered, building the business, changing your life, being a parent, handling divorce, so many things that you could have gone through. What if your experience was your inventory? Write that down. What if your experience was your inventory? What if your knowledge that you've gained in your 20, 40, 60, 80 years on this earth, what if your knowledge was your asset and your commodity? And lastly, what if your brain was the warehouse? I want you to really think about that, because that's an industry that's exponentially growing, not in spite of the shifts in the world, because of all the shifts, because people are home, because that's what I want to explain today. Is I want you to see, and we're going to go through this today, of understanding what is the self-education industry. How could you impact other people's lives, change their lives, by selling what you already know, or selling something you've learned from other people, where you have a limitless supply, where you have the inventory, where someone else is starting off where you left off. Let me just ask you something really quick. If you could go back and spend one full day with your 10-year younger self, in the chat, I'd love to see this. What would it be worth if you could go back and spend time with your 10-year younger self? Or go spend a day with your 20-year-old self? What would it be worth? I want to see that in the chat. And that's really what people have realized, is I don't want to experience through my own trial and error. I don't want to go back to college for 3 years, 5 years. I don't want to work at a job and hopefully get a 3% raise if I even have a job or have that opportunity. I just want to learn from someone who's already been there. You've already been there, and that's what we're going to uncover today. Today, we're going to show you what this industry is, why you should be a part of it, why now. Then I'm going to pull back the curtain on figuring out what you should be offering. And lastly, how do you sell it to people in an ethical way that feels great to impact their lives and create success for yourself? You guys up to learn that today? I mean, if you're here, I'm guessing you want another level of life, right? And I also want to share this. Who this is for? This is for someone who knows you have to put in the work, that you have to follow a path, that there's no such thing as magical money machines. If you're here thinking that I'm going to wave a magic wand and show you how to get rich and turn your keypad into a cash machine, that's not me. That's not Tony Robbins. There's a lot of that all over the internet. There's a lot of people holding up big old checks, get rich for doing nothing. How's that worked out for you or worked out for people you know? That's not what this is about. Who this is for are those ready to learn a skill from two people who've been doing it for 60 years. Those of you ready to make an impact on others. Those willing to step off the main path and do your own thing or scale what you already have. No magical money machine, but here's something I want to share with you. If Mike, you could pull up this slide. The self-education industry is a $365 million a day industry, and Forbes said it'll be $1 billion a day by 2025. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world, and the fact is, it's the #1 secret to the success that Tony and I have had in our lives, and it's brought us not just financial gains, it's brought us the greatest impact that we've been able to do. And we've been blessed to move to a point where we can give back in a huge way. I donate more in the last couple of years than I ever have. Tony, oh my God, is obsessed with it. And we got to do all of that through self-education. Tony's going to pass 500 million meals this year through Feeding America. We've been able to help so many people through Operation Underground Railroad and help kids that are in slavery. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, look what we've done. But I owe a debt of gratitude to this industry because my life changed because of it. And it all started by sharing what we know, even when I didn't think I had anything people would want to hear. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. Pull this back up, Mike. And yes, for the last 2.5 years, Tony and I have been sharing these secrets. That's why I'm here today doing this training. That's why Tony's going to pop on here later, is sharing these secrets, because this is what we've been doing. And we have people in over 150 countries, in over 4,600 different niches, changing lives in everything you could possibly imagine, unlocking something inside of them to help somebody else. But the last thing I want to share is, we're not saying this will make you rich overnight. I'm going to repeat that, or generate you any money at all. I think I got to be really clear on that, because that's why we built such a great family, because people come in with realistic expectations and know that you got to do the work, but the results could be massive. I mean, if you look at, Mike, if you pull this up, and we're going to share some everyday people doing extraordinary things today, students that Tony and I have been able to help. If you think of Lisa, Lisa had a dance studio, and all of a sudden COVID hit. And when COVID hit, everything changed. People weren't coming into her studio anymore. And because she had the chance to work with Tony and I and gain these strategies, she was able to pivot and go virtual and teach virtual. But then she did so well, now she's teaching other people in her industry how to do what she did and pivot through self-education. But then you get somebody like Nancy. And this is the part I want you to really understand. Nancy immigrated to America. She was told, oh, you just get a service job, get a crappy job, and be happy you're in America. And she wouldn't settle for that. She found a way to use being an immigrant and speaking a different language as an advantage, and be able to got a higher level job and got a job in management. And the cool part, now she took that challenge, that passion, that mess that became her message, and now she teaches other immigrants how to not settle and get better jobs. Right? This is where the world is going. It's not the doctor who just teaches what they do. It's not the professor anymore. In fact, we'll talk about it in a minute. Colleges are doing the worst they've ever done in history, because people are saying, I'm not going back to college to learn general knowledge. I want to learn from people who've already been there and have done it. And they want to learn from someone, in so many cases, that's just one chapter ahead. So many times you think you got to be in it for so many years. Think about it in realistic terms. If you're a chapter ahead, you could save somebody a year or 5 years of their life. But I want to first just take a little journey down memory lane here for a second and tell you why it's so important, or why self-education is so important. You know, we all have our story. You guys are all here. You know, you're here for one of two reasons, and you could put it in the chat. We're either moving away from something not so cool in your life. You're moving away, COVID stripped your job or exposed, you had the chance during COVID to realize you're meant for more, you could do more, you could be more, right? And you're moving away from that. I want to move away from a job that doesn't serve me, move away from a job I don't have, move away from a relationship I'm in and I need independence, move away from relying on other people, right? Or life's okay, it's not bad, it's not horrific, but you know there's another level. Dale Carnegie's quote, you know there's more. So you could put it in the chat. You're either moving away from something painful or you want to move towards something pleasureful, right? We all do things about pleasure and pain, and most of us want to get away from the pain so we can get to the pleasure, right? So we all have our story. But I wanted to let you know mine. When I was probably 12 years old, I knew I wanted to be, and I'm not going to make this a long story, but I want to tell you what self-education has done for me. When I was about 12, I knew I wanted to do more in life. I knew that my parents worked really hard to have nothing, and I watched them struggle. And maybe you guys have experienced that. My mom cleaned houses, she painted houses, and she did hair to make nothing. My parents split when I was 3. We got evicted from our trailer park. There was a lot of struggle with no money coming in. And I just knew I wanted to do more, because my first muse was I wanted my mom not to work so hard. She'd come home at 9 o'clock at night with her back hurting, her hands hurt. She was and always sweet, never complained. Now that I'm older, I could get tears in my eyes thinking of how selfless she was to take care of me and my sister. But it really drove me. And wasn't the smartest kid in the world, didn't go to college, knew I wasn't going to go there, had dyslexia, always made me struggle. But that drive made me start cutting firewood in high school, and I started getting momentum. Then I started buying wrecked cars and fixing them up. And then I got a collision shop right out of high school, working with my dad and some of the stuff he did, because he was in the collision repair business. And then I started getting rundown apartments and houses, and I started with no money down strategies. And I really started getting momentum, and I worked night and day I was moving away from something painful, watching my mom struggle, watching my dad struggle. So I was moving away from that. And along this journey, I have to say, you could pull this up. I went back to upstate New York. That was the exact trailer I lived in. So I want you guys to know, I went and took that picture a couple years ago. That was an actual house I lived in with my dad when I first moved in with him when I was about 12, and there was no heat in that house. And we had a little electric space heater. So I'm not saying that to be like, poor me. I wouldn't change any of it. It made me the man I am today. You can pull that down, Mike. But during that journey, it gave me this desire for more. And I have to tell you, going through cutting firewood and building houses and all that, and I started getting momentum. But who in here has ever had some success in your life? You've all had success. But it was kind of stressful success. Like you had the success, but you really had to like dig in, and it wasn't really healthy for you, even though you might have been moving the needle. And I didn't realize that in my 20s, in my mid-20s, I was moving forward. I had like 20 apartments. I was building houses. I had a collision shop. I had a tow truck company. I had a tow truck, and I had a pager, and at night I'd go tow cars if someone got in an accident. But man, all that childhood stuff, my parents married 9 times between them. My dad went through a rough patch, and some crazy stuff happened in our family. I think I was just holding on to all that. And that was my driver, but it wasn't healthy at all. And I think I would have, I'm just being honest, I think I would have exploded. I think I would have come unglued, because I had already had like a bout of a bleeding ulcer. I was already staying up at night. I was getting, like, from the outside, it seemed like I was doing really well. From this kid, from this little town with nothing, already started getting momentum. But on the inside, I was all messed up. And then all of a sudden, I saw this guy late night, and I feel blessed that he's my partner and dear friend, but I saw Tony Robbins on an infomercial. And it was the first time ever, I had never read a book in my life up until that point, because I had dyslexia. There wasn't books on audio or easy access to them back then. So reading was really tough. I didn't comprehend it. Now I listen to a book every 10 days, right? But I'm sharing this with you because it's really important. It's not my journey. This relates to you. I saw Tony Robbins. I believed everything he said, and I ordered everything he had off an infomercial. And you could pull this up. That Tony in the old days. I love this picture my team found, personal power. But I ordered everything Tony had. And you could pull that down. I ordered everything Tony had. And when I got it, literally my dad was like, "Oh my God, you paid a couple $100 for that? You paid for information? Oh my God, you're crazy. Get a refund." And friends said the same thing. It seemed nuts. But it was my first introduction to the knowledge industry, to the information industry, to self-education. I gave Tony Robbins money over TV, over a credit card, over the phone. And he sent me this information. Oh my God, it fundamentally shifted my life. I listened to every one of those back then CDs. I had a big old Sony Walkman with the orange earbuds, and I'd take long walks, and I'd listen to them. I'd be like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Like, this is giving me permission. I'm not crazy. I'm not a fool. I can do more. I can be more. I've been listening to the naysayers. They don't make statues of critics, but we listen to the critics. We let our broke friend tell us how to get rich, our single friend tell us how to fix our relationship because they want to go out and party with us. Like, we take in all this crap. We take in negative news. We build this inner self self-doubt and shell, and we play small, and then we wonder why we feel like imposters when we want to do more. And Tony Robbins took my money, and oh my God, literally the hair is standing up on my arms, because I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, the whole world should need this. A year later, I bought my whole family Tony Robbins courses. I bought my family and my best friends, and I bought them all the tapes. I spent all the money, 10 of them. It was a lot of money back then. And not one of them listened to it start to finish. And I feel so sad for them because they missed out. Some of them are still dealing with the same crap, right? So why have I tell you this? Because as soon as I got this with Tony, I'm like, oh my God, Tony sold me knowledge. It was in here, this asset, this commodity, like the story in the beginning. I'm like, I want to do that. I was already on my way or there to making great money with real estate. With cars. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm like, I'm going to share. I'm going to teach people how to make money with cars like I did. So I get all excited. I get jacked up. I'm like, I'm going to do what Tony Robbins did. And this is before the internet. You got to realize there was no go on Facebook or get a free following on Instagram or social or TikTok. The only way was infomercials, which was really expensive. So I used credit card money, all the money I had, and I start working at night, and I build a course called Motor Millions. You can take a look at it, pull this up. So Motor Millions, I taught people how to make money with cars. And I used to set my alarm for 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'd write all this down, and I'm like, I'm really excited, right? And then all of a sudden, maybe you guys have been in a place like this if you've ever had a new opportunity or something you wanted to do in your life. I got so freaking jacked up. I'm like, I am doing this. I'm going in the information business. I'm doing an infomercial. I'm going to be like Tony Robbins. And then all of a sudden, that voice was like, wait a minute. You're not Tony Robbins. You're not that smart. He's got 20 years on you. He's big. He's dynamic. He's smart. He's got friends that are in high places. And then I start questioning myself. And then my sister literally finds out that I'm using every dollar I have to finance this infomercial for something called Motor Millions. And she drives up from Virginia, where she was living, to sit me down like an intervention, like I was on drugs, and said, listen, I love you. And this was purely out of love. This was not, my sister's the sweetest woman in the world, but she looks after her little brother. She drives up and she sits me down and said, I'm so proud of you. From nothing. By then I had retired my mom, guys. Like that was my goal and my dream. I had retired my mom, sent her a check every week, bought her a car every couple of years. It was to this day, my biggest win of my life was doing that for my mom. So she comes and she goes, look what you've done for mom. Look at the house you live in, the success you have. I'm so proud of you. But enough is enough, Dean. Now you're stretching so far, you're going to lose everything. What do you know about the knowledge industry? You hated school. How are you going to be a teacher? You have dyslexia and you're writing manuals and books. And it was all out of love. But anybody ever have somebody out of love put that self-doubt? And my sister left, and all of a sudden I was like, this is a self-talk, you idiot. Who thought you're going to create a course and be on TV and be like Tony Robbins? It's like you almost have that inner self-doubt that's like making fun of you, right? Like you thought you could do this. And I remember thinking, I'm done. I'm going back. I should be happy with what I have. I can't believe, yes, I'll be in the collision shop, but it's okay. Like, I should be happy. I took a walk. I remember taking a walk. I know the exact street I was on. And I started just thinking, and I didn't have a voice in my ear. I didn't have, I had the messages from Tony Robbins. And I was like, I call it the inner villain and the inner hero. And my inner hero is going, we could do anything. Don't listen to other people. I know your sister loves you, but she's wrong. And the inner villain's like, yeah, whatever, fool. We're not that smart. Can you even spell success? Okay. If you can't spell it, you can't have it. Go back to what you were doing. And this fight went on. But then I had an epiphany. You see, I was looking at this industry too big. I was looking that I had to be the smartest guy and know PDFs and know how to start big car dealerships. And I didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars. And I was looking through all that lens. And I realized that was foolish. That's not what I was doing. All I wanted to do, and this is where I got my confidence, and this is what I'm going to teach you on the whiteboard here in just a minute. When I started to make it smaller, my confidence went back up through the roof. You see, all I wanted to do is teach people how to sell 1 or 2 cars a month like I did that got me out of poverty. Right? I used to do this really great strategy of finding used cars on something called the classified ads that barely exist anymore, right? So I started finding people that were going to trade in their cars, get too low of an offer, and I found a way to match a buyer and seller. And I started thinking, I'm like, all I want to do is find people that want to sell 1 or 2 cars a month, make a couple $1,000 extra a month. I'm not going to teach anybody to get rich overnight. I'm not going to teach people how to open up multiple new car dealerships. I don't know how to get to $100 million a year in a car dealership, but I can surely help people that would like to supplement their income with cars, and cars are something everybody needs. And when I made it smaller, my confidence went back up. And I decided in that moment I wasn't going to listen to the inner self-doubt. I wasn't going to listen to my family. I wasn't going to listen to my friends. I was going after what I wanted. So I got fired up again. I used my money, used my credit card again. The world has changed. And I got on TV with Motor Millions and started getting momentum. I ended up moving out here to Phoenix, Arizona, and I was going back and forth between New York and Arizona. Long story short, I got momentum. I evolved, and I created, from Motor Millions, I went on to create, if you could pull this up, I created a course on real estate. And I taught people, at that point, I had maybe done 40 deals. And I remember thinking the same thing. All right, I'm not worth hundreds of millions, but I've done 40 deals starting with no money. And all of a sudden, that course went on to be a massive hit. And then, as I was getting really big momentum, the world shifted. Infomercials were kind of done, and I was kind of late to the party on social media and online. And that was another transition. And all of a sudden, I am working with my team, and then eventually with Tony, I discovered how social media and online and all of us being connected, oh my God, we could target and help the exact people we need. And we went on to, from like this scary part to go on to, I became a multiple New York Times best-selling author. I've impacted millions of people around the world with my books, my courses, my training. Tony Robbins, the guy that changed my life, that I wrote in my journal someday that I hope I get to just thank him. Right now, we talk every single day of our lives. We've launched 2 companies together. We're helping people in 150 plus countries. I feel blessed and honored to call him a brother and a friend on this path. And I've had more success than I've ever imagined possible. I got to retire both my parents and get to do some really cool stuff in my life. That's not bragging. It's just this journey. So when people say, why are you so passionate about self-education? It's like, because, oh my God, my guidance counselor said, oh, you're not going to college? You know, I can get you an application for the only factory in our town at minimum wage, and you might be able to get a job there for the rest of your life. Like literally, I didn't know that self-education existed. And when I found it, it shifted my life. We can go learn on our own trial and error, or we can learn from those who've already been there. But here's the thing where the world has shifted so much. You see, there are people out there right now that need and want what's living inside your head. Information, knowledge, experience, a mess, a strategy, something that you've taken a year, 3, 5, or 20 to master. Somebody wants that. And what Tony and I are helping people do in 150 plus countries is unlock that and share it, sell what you know, impact their lives, and create success for you and your family. You see, like I said, the regular general education, traditional education, is unfortunately failing. I'm not knocking it because I didn't go. I'm knocking it because they didn't keep up. The world is exponentially growing, and colleges have stayed similar. I had someone say, you know, if you took somebody back 50 or 100 years ago, or you took them from 100 years ago and brought them to today, they'd be like, oh my God, you see what a phone does? And you see what this does? I can't believe it, and planes and all that stuff. And if they went in the classroom, they'd be like, oh yeah, instead of a chalkboard, we use a whiteboard. Oh, okay. Like not enough has changed. And that's why the world is shifting into self-education. So as we move forward here, I want to show you what we're going to cover today. 3 big things today. Mike, bring up this slide. We're going to cover why this, why now, why you. The number 2 secret is knowing what to sell. Because if I was you right now, I'd be thinking, well, I know a lot of things, or I don't know enough, or I'm not really an expert. What could I sell? So I want to teach you what you can sell. And then the last part will be, how do you sell it? Using social media. I want you to think about this before we get there. How long has social media used you? How long have you been the consumer of social media? How would you like to use, instead of it using you, use it and be the producer, not the consumer? When you flip social media and use it to your leverage, it's completely different. When my kids see me on social media, when I see them, I'm like, guys, you only get a half hour a day. When they see me on it, I'm like, this covers our bills. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it, right? So it's just a different way to look at it. But what I want to do right now, and Scott, you could show, I want to go over to the whiteboard, and I want to show you what I believe, this is just my thoughts on why self-education, why you, why now, and explain it in a way that I think makes sense. So come on over, Mike, or Scott. All right, my fancy writing here. I wrote this in advance because if I did it in real time, I'd misspell everything and it'd be so sloppy you couldn't read it. But this is my quick definition of the knowledge industry. And what does this graph mean? This is life. Let's just say this is our journey of life, okay? And when you're on your journey of life, and you could let me know in the chat, or if I could see so many of your faces too, during that journey of life, have you ever had a mess come up unexpected, right? Went through an unexpected divorce, got fired from the job, something happened with your family, you had an illness, something went sideways in your life, somebody let you down, you lost that inner love that you had for yourself, and you lost who you were supposed to be or who God designed you to be, and you just got off on the path. Or maybe at this moment, right, this is a pivotal moment, you had to learn something. You decided, I'm going into business for myself. I'm going to get the raise. I'm going to do better at this relationship. I'm going to parent differently. You had to learn something, or you had to take some uncomfortable action. I got to end this. I got to start this. I have to fix this. Any one of these scenarios, it does something. It puts you in this downward position, right? I had to fix this mess. I had to learn this new thing. I had to learn this skill, or I had to figure this thing out, or I had to get better at it, or I had to take uncomfortable action to start the business, scale the business, ask the question, ask for the yes, get the money, right? But during this journey of going down, what happens? You start uncovering, you start understanding how to fix the mess, and you come up with a solution. The learning of starting your own thing, being in the business you're in, learning sales, learning how to eat vegan, learning how to exercise better from home, learning how to make your kids be the center if you had a divorce and you put them first. Or like you learn a little bit, maybe you had a child born with eczema and you learn how to naturally heal it. I don't know what that learning was, but it became a skill. And that uncomfortable action became mastery in some cases. So you went through this journey, and all of a sudden, now you're over here and life gets to continue. But during this dip, and sometimes, let's be honest, that dip looks like this, right? Sometimes we go down to the lowest points in our lives. During this journey, you learned this became this. And here's the part that I believe describes self-education the best. Right now, at this point, are so many people in the exact niche of what you learned during this journey, and they're looking over the cliff, and they need to go through this journey. And there's two things they can do, or you can let them do. They can go here, or maybe they have to go all the way down here and someday come back, or, and this is what I love to call, this is what we do, in the self-education industry, we build a bridge. That's really what the knowledge industry is. It's a bridge to get people from where they are to where they want to go so they could skyrocket. And they're either going to go through this journey, or they're going to look to someone like you who's willing to unlock what's inside of your head, willing to share what your experiences are. And I know, listen, so many of you here today, maybe this is the first time you ever heard about this. Maybe you weren't even sure it was an industry. Maybe this seems insane to you. But let me just tell you what's changed in the world. You see, when I started and when Tony started, we had to do infomercials, and then we had to build a course, and we had to put the course into a warehouse, and then we had to get people call on the phone, and then the warehouse would pack up the box and ship it to them, and we had to pay for media and all that stuff. That was great. It's how I learned. If you knew what it looks like through my lens in today's world, when we can identify the exact people, we'll talk more about that in a moment, that want exactly what it is you're sharing, that we can deliver this just like I'm doing right now on a Zoom call. You could write a book over the next year. That's great. I've written multiple New York Times bestsellers. I love books. But I would much rather lay out what I was going to do if someone gave me the blueprint like Tony and I do, and in 30 days from now be on a Zoom call impacting lives all over the world that want to eat better, live better, work out better, fix their relationship, find self-love, sell better, live. 4,500 different niches. We can do this through platforms, through Zoom, through something Tony and I created. We'll share with you in a little bit. Like, your delivery systems are endless. You could create a course. You could create a course in today's world from your phone and upload it from your phone. Technology has not made it harder. Technology has simplified it in this industry. Technology drives me nuts. I'm 52. I didn't grow up with a phone in my hand or technology. I like simple. In this industry, it's so easy to deliver once you know. So that's the best way I love to describe the knowledge industry, is you are providing a bridge to help people go from where they are to where they want to go. And when you look at it, somebody like, let's bring up this slide. Mindy, she's so awesome. I had the chance to talk to Mindy on the phone. Mindy was in a traditional, corporate life and just got tired of it and decided to follow her passion of photography. She went from one extreme to another, and she wanted to be creative. And she went around New York City just taking pictures of all this cool stuff and doing it in a way that was different than the traditional way. She loved it so much that she decided to build a little school in New York City to teach people how to be better at photography. And she got momentum and started doing well. And then all of a sudden, COVID came, and that put an end to it. Like, people would come to her office, she'd teach it. And she thought to herself, I wonder if I could ever do something online. And her friend's like, nah, that's for young people. No, that's too busy. No, that's too big of a crowd. That's what the naysayers said. That's what maybe my sister would have said, even though she loves me and was trying to protect me. Thankfully, Mindy didn't listen to the naysayers or in her self-doubt. She started working with Tony and I and realized that wasn't true, that she could stand out. And now Mindy is absolutely crushing it. She built not only a course, she does live virtual trainings. And now guess what? The people she teaches are not people from New York City anymore. She's teaching people from all around the world. She went from this tiny niche, and now she's training everyone how to have this creative eye and take pictures in a different way. And she's doing absolutely amazing. It was so great having an awesome conversation with her. Okay, so here's where we're at. First is knowing what to sell. Why now? Why this? I hope, I'm doing this live. I'm doing this without scripts. I hope that you get to see that this is an industry that's exponentially growing. This is an industry that's shifted, that people aren't looking for the doctors and the lawyers and the people with initials after their name or 40 years experience. They're looking for somebody that's a chapter ahead, that would be willing to share what they know to help them with that bridge in every niche you could possibly imagine. I hope I did you a service by understanding it. And the next part is knowing what to sell, right? It's like, okay, I know a lot of things, or maybe I don't know enough, but I want you to think about this, right? Actually, pull these up. These are regular people, everyday people doing extraordinary things. These are on a platform, I'll tell you later, that Tony and I created for people to share their stories. Now, these are everyday people. These aren't the doctors and people who figured out. These are people that were scared, had imposter syndrome, didn't know if they had a strategy. And these are all people selling what they know online, their commodity, right? I said this before, their experiences, their inventory, their knowledge is their asset. Go ahead and pull those up. So, Erica is teaching people how to brand themselves, write a book, or do a course done for you in 30 days. Charles King is teaching people how to film themselves. There's a lot of people filming themselves in today's world, not sure how to do it in an elegant way. Adam is teaching people how to manage your finances yourself from home, taking ownership of your 401k. He's not a financial expert. He just did this for himself and had some great results. Tiffany teaches people how to do a six-week low-carb nutrition support. Mark Evans teaches people how to build an app. And Mark had never done that before. I know his story. Let's see. Holly teaches people how to write songs from the heart. I mean, how cool is that? Who would have ever thought? She writes songs, now she teaches people how to do it. Florraine teaches people how to master stress and anxiety and find peace and calm. Now, none of us need that in today's world, right? Let's see. Peter teaches the 7 principles to make sure your children are thriving. Now, during divorce. Now, think about that, right? I talked about before, your mess sometimes becomes your message. I want you to think about this. If you were going through a divorce, and I hope nobody, I went through one. I'm not an advocate of divorce, but I went through it. I remember the fear and the angst I had about my children because I was a child of divorce. And when I did, I looked for people who had already gone through it. Let me just ask you, if you were going through that situation in today's world is different. 20 years ago, you might have said, I got to go to a therapist who specializes in that. That's not the way people think anymore. The way people think is, I want someone who went through it, whose kids are thriving, who's aligned with their ex and they parent the same way, they co-parent magically, and is willing to share it. I would much rather learn from someone who's been through it, experienced, went through the valley, and is on the other side. That's how most of you are if you're willing to share your experience. And then lastly, there's so many of these, but Jen teaches 6 months of coaching for young widows and widowers. I know that seems like a small niche, and it fills my heart that she's helping other people because obviously she went through that. And here's one I think is really important. Pull this slide up, Mike, and you can leave this up. How to help cure eczema naturally, right? And I know there's no natural cures or any of that, and that's not what she claims. But let me just tell you about Jamie Falahi. This is a really personal story because Jamie filmed a course. You could take that down now, Mike. She filmed a course on how to naturally help eczema, right? Because she had a son with eczema and took him to doctors and he was on steroids and she just had all these different opinions, couldn't take it anymore. She read every book, went to every expert she could, and she came up with a process and she naturally cured her son of eczema. Now that sounds great. She was scared to death to release this. She was like, I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school for this. I just have what I did for my son. And when she shared it, something she didn't know. She shared this before my son Luca was born. Could you pull up that slide, Mike? That's my little boy, Luca. And my boy was born with eczema really bad. And you see his little, we have to put gloves on him at night, and his face gets so itchy. He's the cutest little boy. He's 10 months old right now. But she didn't know when she filmed that I would have a son with eczema. And this is a true story. And you can leave this slide up. My wife bought Jamie's course. I didn't even know it, and went through the entire thing. That's my little boy. He's not 100% cured, but he's so much better from what Jamie taught in that course. She found a natural way to do it. And my wife shifted her diet. You know, we have lots of experts that we're trying to figure it out, but she shifted her diet to heal her gut and to empower his, and the probiotics and the special creams that we have and certain creams that bug him and the laundry detergent we use. So many things. Listen, this is the part I really want you to think about. I believe Jamie would have been selfish if she didn't share what she learned. I don't mean that in a mean way. She's awesome, and my wife loves her course. But I want you to know she was scared, and she almost didn't do it because she didn't feel like the expert. It was only, I'm not a doctor. But all her years of research to cure her son allowed my wife to gain it in 2 days going through her course. Jamie was selfless and shared and allowed my boy to be better. And this is just one simple case. This happens over and over. My daughter also bought how to do oil painting off of someone and went through that entire course, and she cut the learning curve. There's so many cool things that we could share, but there's so many things that can truly impact other people's lives that lives inside here with you, and you just have to understand the strategy of how to unlock it. In fact, Scott, could you follow me over to the whiteboard? This is my next fancy smancy drawing for you guys. All right, we'll do this so we can focus on that. Okay, now, here's what happens. When you start thinking, and maybe I'm wrong, you can let me know in the chat, but here's what happens when you start thinking about what you're gonna share, right? Jamie, she filmed that, I think, on her phone in her kitchen. It's an unbelievable, awesome course, right? But when you start thinking about what you're gonna share, you're like, oh my God, like when I talked about Motor Millions, right? When I almost gave up was when I was thinking, I gotta be something for everyone. I got to teach how to do dealerships and how to do your spreadsheets and how to calculate and create your standing operating procedures and what are your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Oh my God, I don't know that. I'm a loser. I can't do it. That brain started that. But then when I said, no, if I just want to teach people how to flip one extra car a month from home, I could do that. I could kill it. So I want you to think about the smaller we get, the more your confidence goes up, the bigger it gets. So if we think about, let's use Jamie as an example. I just shared her personal story. If Jamie thought about, I got to try to sell how to cure eczema or how to help eczema naturally to 7 billion people, I'm not a doctor. I can't do it. But was she really going after 7 billion people, or was she going after parents, right? It gets a little smaller when she was just going after parents. But was she going after all parents? No, she was just going after parents with young kids. Oh, that gets smaller. But was she going after parents with just young kids? No, she was going after parents with young kids that have eczema. Oh, that gets even smaller. But then, that wasn't who she was going after. She was going after parents with young kids who have eczema that want to cure it naturally. And that dot becomes small. And when that dot became small, her confidence went through the roof because she knows that she could teach that. She could teach parents of kids with eczema how to use the strategy she used to get him off steroids and do it naturally. You see, when I thought about helping people sell cars, 7 billion people seemed overwhelming. But I wasn't going after 7 billion people. I was going after people that wanted to do something a little extra, that wanted to just sell a couple cars, that wanted to do it from home, that didn't want to start a dealership, and wanted to just make a few bucks extra a month, not millions. When I did that, That's all I went after, right? My wife, I'll give you an example. I met my wife. She was the top hairstylist in Arizona. Amazing at what she does. And she specializes in hair extensions. I didn't even know hair extensions were a thing. Had no idea. Now I'm an expert in hair extensions because my wife's so passionate about it. She's so passionate because she believes she helps when women come in. The reason she's so damn good is because she loves women, and she loves women to be empowered and look amazing and feel amazing. Like, it's her art that she wants women to come in not feeling the best about themselves, and when they leave, they feel on fire. And it lights her up, and that's why she's so damn good at what she's done. Now, she's already done some trainings. When I first met her, she's like, I could never do this. And then when I did this I literally did this with her, this little evolution. And when I did, she went from I could never do that to I must do it. Because when I said to her, you're thinking that you got to serve 7 billion people on how to do hair better, right? What she wanted to do is help hairstylists impact lives more and make more money. You know, an average blow dry might be $50, where hair extensions are like $500. $700. It's crazy. I had no idea that women spent that, but it looks magnificent, right? So she wanted to help other stylists do better for themselves. And when she thought about training 7 billion people, overwhelming. She thought about the beauty industry, still too overwhelming. Thought about just helping people with haircuts and blow dries and SOPs and running the front desk and how to advertise, all that overwhelmed her. I said, but what if you didn't do the beauty industry? You didn't do all the stuff. You just did hair extensions. But I said, babe, do you use all kinds of different hair extensions? She's like, no, a lot of them break the hair off and hurt. A lot of them give you a headache because it's too tight. She's like, I use the one that I believe feels you don't even know they're in. They're easy to put in. They don't give you a headache, and they're most cost effective. It's natural hair. So I said, you use one kind? She goes, yeah, just one kind. So it went from 7 billion down to this little dot that she was just teaching other hairstylists not how to do color, not how to cut, not how to blow dry, just to do hair extensions and this one type of hair extension. When I did that, she's like, oh, I could do that in my sleep. I'm like, exactly. And now she's fired up to do this. So the reason I took a moment is because once you narrow it down, and it's a process that Tony and I have mastered, that we walk people through in a much deeper process, strategy and build a framework, then here's the part you really got to understand. You reverse engineer what you've discovered. Not all this, just this. And you find your ideal client. Jamie is just looking for parents of kids with eczema that want to cure it naturally. I was just looking for people that wanted to do 1 car a month. I was looking for people that wanted to do 1 or 2 real estate deals a year. I'm looking for people that Tony and I are sharing, people who want to be in the knowledge industry, right? When you fine tune it, then you just look for the exact person. And then all your advertising, all your marketing, your social media posts, whatever it is you do, the emails to friends, just go say, I'm looking for people that want this. Here's the cool part in today's world. This could potentially be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of people, because we're all connected to everyone around the world. This is why the knowledge industry is exploding the way it is. Come on over here, Scott. And one more thing, I think, and this is cool to bring up only because we saw this last week, Fernando. Sometimes it's not your own knowledge, right? Tony started by sharing Jim Rohn's knowledge. Before Tony was the expert, I don't know if you guys know it, he was just the reporter of what Jim Rohn taught him. And then he became the expert after he shared it enough. So sometimes we're the reporter of other people's knowledge because we've obsessed on it, right? Fernando, if you pull this up, he was an event planner. COVID came, everything changed. So what he did is he put on an event because he loves cooking, he loves food, he loves culture. He's in South America. He put an event on with different chefs, all socially distanced, right? And he got all these chefs to come together and teach their expertise. He was just like he just brought the people together. He wasn't the expert, but he did amazing, absolutely crushed it, bringing other people's knowledge together. And that's another way to jump in the knowledge industry. Okay, you can bring that down. Now, if you know, we did 3 things, right? 1 is hopefully you see why this industry, why now, why you. 2, I hope that little diagram helped you see that when the smaller you get for your niche, the smaller your niche gets, the more opportunity you have to gain the confidence to make this real, and the more you get to pinpoint who needs it. And when you talk to people who want exactly what you're offering, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It feels amazing because each person wants it, whether that's cooking, eating better, fixing your relationship, fixing eczema, doing hair extensions, or flipping a car. When you talk to the person that wants it, you get a different feel. So if you know what it is, the industry, and then you know, or you start to think about what you can offer, the last thing I'd be thinking is, well, how the hell do I sell it? Like, just thinking about it, like, you know, who'd buy from me? I don't have any followers. Where do I find them? I'm not a big influencer on Instagram. And I know that's one of the biggest things that hold people back and can ruin people, to miss out on this, to miss this huge wave coming in, right? You think of a surfer. If a surfer gets in front of the wave, it drives them all the way to the beach. If you wait too long, the wave kind of goes by and you're paddling to keep up. And I would just hate for those myths to stop you from moving forward, to explore in this. Because if you think, oh, I'm an introvert, I don't know if I could teach people. Again, I don't have a huge following. That's enough to make you play small, miss out, and then the wave goes by. So I'm hoping today, and again, we'll have Tony here to share his message in a little bit too. I think he'll help with that as well. But I want to make sure that doesn't happen today, and I hope I do you guys a service to uncover as much as I can here in 90 minutes or so. But I want to bring up Del Jane. I think this was great. Del Jane, she was in business. She was a business transformation consultant, and I bet she was damn good at it. And she was literally just going at it and working, and she wanted something different. She was on a training just like this, and she said, I'm going all in. I'm going to do this. But when she did it, and you can pull that down, Mike. When she did it, she started going through, and she thought she was going to teach other people how to be a transformation consultant in business. But the more she went in, she's like, but my passion, I'm not an expert, and I've never taught it before, but and this is how she described it, as foo-foo stuff. Energy healing, from rocks to chakra, to alignment, to crystals, to meditation, yoga, all the things that I need more of. I'm just going to raise my hand, to be more in alignment, right? She said, it's foo-foo stuff, Dean. Not many people know about it, right? She said, but the more I started uncovering it, the more I realized that's what I wanted to teach. I'm already working in the business transformation industry. I want to teach people the stuff that has me centered and grounded. She goes, but I was scared to death because I'm not a coach in that. I've never taught anybody. So she decides, she's going for it. Like, she gets fired up. What I loved about Del Jane, I had the chance to have a conversation. She just burned all the bridges. She did something that I love. I love this word. You should write it in the chat, write it in your notes. The only way to your next level is to take uncomfortable action. If you don't take uncomfortable action, the tail will wag the dog, right? Life will guide you. You have two choices in life. You get to be the thermometer of life or the thermostat. If we don't take uncomfortable action, if we don't gain capabilities and move forward, we will be the thermometer of life. The economy goes up, we go up. The economy goes down, we go down. Chaos in the streets, craziness in elections or presidents and all this stuff. If you're here in America, we get to ride the roller coaster of someone else adjusting, or we take ownership and say, right, do not touch. I'm in control of my thermostat. We must take uncomfortable action to do it. I love her story because she took uncomfortable action. She laid out a weekend. She goes, I don't have a course. I'm just going to do a 2-day Zoom training over a weekend, like 7 hours a day, and teach people everything I learned over the last 10 years of being in this foo-foo industry, as she called it, the energy, the healing industry, right? So she decides, and this is cool to know, she decides that she's just going to go find people she did classes with in advance and people she met along her journey, or somebody she goes to yoga with, and she goes to Facebook and she writes a message and she DMs all of them. And she hits send, and she said she was so nervous that she literally hit send, slammed her laptop, and ran out the door embarrassed and said, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. That was the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. She said she took a walk, and when she came back, she said, anybody ever do that? She was looking at her laptop like, I can't open it. Nope, they're going to be like, oh, that was dumb, right? And she said she finally got the nerve, and she opened her laptop, and her life changed forever. People are like, oh my God, Del Jane, I'm so glad you're doing this. When is it? She sold out 32 spots. Now, I'm not saying you're going to send one DM and you're going to be rich overnight, but she absolutely destroyed it. She sold out her first mastermind, and she didn't even have it created yet. And then she was so excited to create the curriculum and share it. And I know that she ended up doing it, and she had the time of her life. She impacted. Now she's going to her next one or third one. She's doing incredible. But she took that uncomfortable action. And you see the difference, guys. The difference in today's world is when I started, when Tony started, we had to go straight to infomercials, right? And we couldn't target our audience. I mean, think about, can we just be honest, infomercials are kind of annoying. Like, just be honest, before there was all the TV that we could correct it. If you remember TV 15, 20 years ago, it's like, oh, another infomercial. Like, kind of annoying, but there was no other option. There wasn't even MySpace. There wasn't Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, and there wasn't podcast. It was the only way we could get our message out. But because the world has shifted, Del Jane knew how to target. She could go in her Facebook and Instagram and just target the people she knew. All of us have those capabilities. All of us had the opportunity to go to Facebook groups. You know, a buddy of mine 5, 10 years ago started a Facebook group on how to barbecue better. And there's like 1 million people in this Facebook group on teaching people how to barbecue. If I was going to do a self-education course on how to be a better barbecuer, I'd go live inside that Facebook group. I'd make a lot of friends. I'd send them over to me in my course or my training or my live training, right? We didn't have that back in the day. The world has changed. There's a better way. Instead of social media using you, you get to use it. You can find your ideal client. You can identify. I mean, think about this. If you look at, and I love thinking of this version. In fact, Scott, could you come in here for a second? I want you to think about, I'm going to bring this up. Could you bring up the slide? Jill. I love Jill's story. She was in the real estate space, and the world shifted, and she had to stop working, and she had to do homeschooling, right? She said she learned to be homeschooling really fast and how to be a teacher, but she was missing that side of her, knowing that like she wanted to be a great mom and do all those things, but she knew she had more, and she ended up deciding to work with Tony and I, getting this information, and now she homeschools, but she's completely crushing it, teaching other people, mostly women, how to get in their first real estate deal from home using online platforms. She's absolutely crushing it, but here's the cool part. She did it through word of mouth, referrals, and existing clients. She didn't spend $1 in advertising. She just used what we currently have. I do this little thing called the wagon wheel. So she used direct messaging. If you pull that slide up, she DM'd a whole bunch of people, right? Next is your current network and people. I want to bring this slide up. Laura was in worked for a company that was a nonprofit. She loved it, but she knew there was more. She had that entrepreneurial flair, and she decided to do her own thing and branch out. She absolutely crushed it. She had 134 people join her free group. She grew her free group, did her first training online, and now she's, again, I'm not saying you're going to do this once and quit your job and be rich. I really want to say that because I want you to know this comes from the right spot. But she decided to quit that job, even though it was a great job, and now she's doing her own thing from home, and all of it started by hitting her current network and reaching out to people she already knew. Social media. We have Marla Murray, used her existing network and online to gain her first 100 raving fans. She had 15 at her first virtual mastermind. And I want to explain something. A mastermind, it sounds like a big word, and sometimes I overuse it because I think the whole world knows what it is. A mastermind is really just a group of people coming together where everybody's getting smarter. Earl Nightingale said a mastermind is more than two minds coming together and collectively they create a third mind, meaning you bring in your knowledge, your expertise. A mastermind is just bringing people with similar interests together, and everybody gets smarter because you facilitated that group. She absolutely crushed it, and she did this completely through social media, right? And then we have Facebook groups. I shared that last one. It's Facebook groups, and we have history, and Emma crushed it using Facebook groups. You can take that down, Mike. The reason I'm sharing this is because I just want to tell you why Tony and I are doing this now. Because we love this industry. But being honest, 20, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago, it was a tough industry to break into. Right now, there's a lot of people that tell you how to get rich overnight and do all those things, but here's the cool part. Tony and I have been doing this for over 60 years, and we wanted self-education saved both of us. Jim Rohn saved his life. If he didn't have Jim Rohn in his life, I don't know where he'd be. If I didn't have Tony Robbins in my life, I don't know where he'd be. The reason we're so screaming from mountaintops, the reason we're sharing, the reason I'm here with you right now and doing this training is because this is the perfect time. This is the moment where if you're going to investigate, if you're going to explore, if you're going to put energy into effort into something, why not unlock the inventory that lives in here? Help somebody who's waiting right now, like me and my wife wanting eczema help or the 4,500 different niches. There's somebody right now needing what's in here. But you need the confidence to know what to sell and how to unlock it. You need to know how to sell it. You need to know how to make this real and not just sell it once, but how do you make this real, replicatable, and make this something that really changes the success in your family. And that's what we've done, and that's what we've obsessed on. So bring this slide up. So we covered, why this, why now, knowing what to sell, knowing how to sell it. And I want to give this little diagram. Leave this up for a second. I call this the double triangle. It's just a fancy little name to say. If you look at it this way, you either have a skill that you spent time figuring out, whether that's eating vegan, healthy, and all the other things we named. Or maybe you had a mess that became a message. Jamie's mess was her son with eczema, right? Maybe it was a divorce and you figured out the best way to serve your children, right? Or you're the reporter, like so many people have done, right? Like Tony, how he started, the reporter of other people's knowledge. Then you get to virtually share that. Now, virtually you share that through Facebook group, through Instagram, through a Zoom call, through some of you are watching on YouTube. The world has changed, right? We don't have to do it in the traditional way. You can create an incredible course. You can create a course on your phone. You just need to know how to do it, right? And then you deliver that as a course, a mastermind, as we explained, or a workshop. And you can do that all virtually. I mean, in today's world with COVID, we must do it virtually. And that's how you enter the knowledge industry. Guys, the world has completely shifted. And if this is something that appeals to you, if you would love to offer what you know, if you'd love to impact other people's lives, if you're ready to step up, to tap into your full potential, to be a role model, be a leader, if you want to do something that's a real industry that's exponentially growing and literally put the time, effort, not dabble, not hit a few keypads and hope to get rich, but really put time and effort, because you're going to put time and effort into someone. We'd love for you to work with us. And here's what we do know. If you're going to go to that next level, if you're going to make this real, you're going to need guidance. So you don't learn through your own trial and error. So you don't learn through mistakes and fail too hard. So you have a blueprint. So you have a training. So if you're ready to go to another level, if you'd like to learn more, and you're going to need somebody to teach you, Tony and I would love it to be us. Listen, what I shared today, I'm trying to do this whole thing in 90 minutes or less, and we got a message from Tony here too, is really just the tip of the iceberg. I wanted you to see why this industry is so great. I wanted you to see how this is the best vehicle, what you could offer, how to offer it, how to sell it. But there's frameworks for all of this. And Tony and I spent a year obsessing and extracting 60 years of knowledge. And we created a course called KBB. And maybe you've seen it. It became a little movement. Over 40, I think we're at 40,000 people worldwide in over 150 countries using our strategies to extract what they know, impact people's lives, and create success. And if you could pull this slide up, Mike. And this is something in all areas of your life, guys, and you could write this down because this is where you may have missed out in the past. If you've ever bought a course before, if you ever went to a live event, if you've ever done a training where you were really excited but maybe it didn't last, I would bet to say you're missing one of these 4 things. Maybe you just got the tactics but you didn't have the mindset, so the first time you had an obstacle, it didn't work out. You went the other way without realizing that self-doubt won. And once you have the mindset, you need the strategy and tactics. You got to learn from people who've already been there. Right? It's about gaining the strategies. So that's what self-education is at its best. But then you need the immersion, right? You need to immerse yourself. You need the repetition, right? To make it real. And then the last piece is, and put this up, you need to implement, right? You need to take that uncomfortable action. And that's the one sometimes that gets left out. You get the knowledge, you get excited, you're ready to go, but you never really got it into play. Well, again, Tony and I have 60 plus years in this industry, 60 plus years of being self-employed, and we knew that if you're going to really make this work, the reason this has become a movement, the reason we feel so blessed to have so much success around the world, helping people get in and scale within the knowledge industry, is because we know you need all of that. And that's what we created today, and that's why I'm so excited to share this with you right now. Mike, you can bring up this slide. So the first segment of KBB, the Knowledge Broker Blueprint. Knowledge broker means we have knowledge, we broker that knowledge, either our own or someone else's, and this is the blueprint. Number 1 is master your mindset. And the truth is, who better than Tony Robbins? I mean, let's just be honest. If you don't have an unstoppable mindset, right, the first thing we hit, we kind of retreat, go back to what we know, even if we don't love what we know. Nobody better. This first module will give you the 5 keys to avoid failure and keep going forward, the foundation for success, create an unstoppable mindset. Literally, I watched Tony film all this live, and I had 20 pages of notes. This first module everybody goes nuts over. I promise you, when you're done with this module, you will know that this is for you, but you will have the mindset that you won't let someone like my wonderful sister talk you out of it, or the inner self-doubt, or the news throw you off track and go, oh, maybe it's not the time, and then you miss out. That's the first key. We said you needed mindset. So when you're done with module 1, section 1, you're going to be on pure fire. But once you have the mindset, then what's next? Now, this is a big word. In module 2, we talk about your superpower, right? That sounds like a big word, but really, it's how do you unlock the thing? We went through it quickly today, but Tony and I created an absolute framework to extract what it is, that one thing that's narrowed down to that little button, the thing that my wife discovered, I discovered, Jamie discovered, and thousands of people around the world have discovered, is when you niche it down, you go, oh, that's it. But then we teach you how to share it with other people. And it's called the Story Teach Tool Model. It will absolutely change the way you think about sharing. You won't worry about teaching, whether it's in a live Zoom or creating a course. We also teach you in this module how to identify your ideal client, and we share our personal tools. The personal tools section will transform your life. You got to go through all of them yourself, but then you get to use those tools in your training, in your workshop, in your mastermind, in your course, your ebook. These are the things that anchor people in. So at the end of module 1, the mindset's done. The end of module 2, you'll know what you're teaching, who you're teaching it to, how to teach it, and the tools to anchor it in. And then the third section, you can bring this up. The third is the most important, and that's how do you market it. And marketing scares so many people, but when you change it to service, right? Think about this. Jamie would have done a disservice if she didn't share about eczema. You would be doing a disservice if you didn't help people with what you already know. If you're ready to transform, shift, try something new, I'm doing you a disservice today if I don't get you to say yes, because I know doing it on your own is going to be absolutely brutal, or not doing it at all. You sit on the sidelines and you miss it, right? So when you understand the value of what you have to offer, you'll never sell a day in your life. And that's what we teach in this section. We start up high like a reverse triangle. Up wide is the mindset, the philosophy of not selling, providing value through service, and the byproduct of value is a sale. Does that make sense to everybody? Is the byproduct of value created in their life is a sale. And when you do that, then you're like, oh my God, I must help these women. I must help these men. I must help these children. I must help this family, right? But then in this section, you'll learn what Tony and I have been using for decades, how you create something called the hook, story, close. So your messaging is elegant and not stressful, things that have allowed us to create more success than we've ever dreamed of, how to create marketing stamina, how to use social media. You can pull this up, Mike. How do you use Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and email and word of mouth and networking and Facebook groups? All of those things, a lot of them taught by my top employees and myself, showing you. I call it a wagon wheel if you pull this back up, because that's where you get flow of people coming to your offer, your mastermind, your workshop, what it is you're going to share, your Zoom call, right? So if you think about that, at the end of module 3, right, you'll have the mindset. You'll know what you're going to share, who you're going to share it to, how you're going to share it, and then you'll know how to sell it, how to offer it. And then the last module is, how do you do your events with confidence? How do you take something that was in here and create a process and share it? And how do you do it through a network at mastermind.com that we'll show you here in a moment? How do you do it on Zoom? How do you do it through a Facebook group? All of the things in today's technology that have made it so much easier than what Tony and I used to have to go through to build a course. That's what we do here, is how do you create your event, your training with confidence from Zoom and all the pieces. So if you think about that, at the end of those 4 modules, and there's some prize bonuses in there as well. You'll have the mindset, you know, what you're offering, to who, how to offer it, how to market it, how to sell it, and how to deliver it. Now, when it came to pricing this, I'll just be honest with you. Tony has his platinum group, and if you got $1,000 a year, there's a waiting list to get in. It is unbelievable because his time is so precious. I've been blessed to be paid up to $200,000 for 90 minutes on stage. Now, both of those could seem like absolute bragging, and I'm sorry. But I'm sharing it because sometimes people forget to put a value on wisdom, a value on knowledge. And I want you to know the same thing when it's time to share your knowledge. We've spent 60 years figuring this out. We know all the stuff that doesn't work. I promise you, we failed miserably. But during those failures and keep going, we discovered what did work. And how valuable is that? Would this be worth $50,000? I think in a moment, because you could spend years trying to figure out what we could teach you in a moment, how to identify it, how to market it, how to share it, how to do it ethically, how to sell without selling, how to serve others, and then how to ramp and scale and make this real. I mean, you could pay a lot of money for that. So when it came to pricing it, if we put, you could pull this up, if we put $5,000 on this, I think it would be an absolute steal. Now, that's not what you're paying today, but I'm putting that there as a placeholder to know that I believe the value is way beyond that. So this is, in that first part, this is your immersion. This is the right mindset. This is the tactics and the tools. But then we want to take it to another level. Last year, we did our first ever World Summit. And in our World Summit, you can pull this up. We did our World Summit, and we had guests like Jenna Kutcher and Trent Shelton and Jamie Kern-Lima, Pete Vargas, Brendan Burchard. Maybe those people you know, maybe you have no idea. For example, Jamie Kern-Lima, she started at Denny's and wanted to be in the cosmetic business. And long story short, she got denied by everybody, said she wasn't pretty enough, she was the wrong weight, she was the wrong size, she didn't know what she was doing, she wasn't in this industry. Long story short, she built IT Cosmetics, the largest cosmetic brand in America, sold it to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion. And this is one badass, amazing woman sharing her story. And now she's in the self-education business. Her book is launching here in a couple of weeks. We're helping her do that. But you have that, and Trent Shelton, from the NFL to the top 5 watched on Facebook. Jenna Kutcher, #1 podcast in business and marketing in the world. It's called Goal Digger, right? Brendan Burchard, top high-performance person on the planet. They all came, Tony and I, and we absolutely pulled back the curtain to help people immerse themselves in this, to feel it, to be surrounded by people doing this who realize that knowledge brokers, I want you to think about this, knowledge brokers are not born. Knowledge brokers are created. Knowledge broker, it's a fancy word for people sharing their knowledge, right? You're not born, you don't wake up and go, this is what I'm gonna do forever. You go through life, you go through experience, and there's one moment where you go, I'm going into business just sharing what I know. All of those people at this event did that, plus others. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was the most fun event in my life. It sold out last year. We had 8,000 people show up live. We spent a fortune for a Zoom room that was massive. Tony spent millions to build this Zoom room. We're doing it again in August. Bring this up. This ticket, this VIP ticket, is $697. That's not an inflated number. That's what we sold it for last year, and this event sold out. So we want you to have the course, but we want you to come to the event as a VIP guest. You will get, you can pull this up, Mike. You will get the Knowledge Broker Blueprint, and you will get a VIP ticket to the World Summit. Okay, let's go to this next slide here. This is the implementation. So I got to tell you this story really quick. We built an implementation platform. We built a directory. We wanted to take away the complexity to make it real, because here's what I know. I said this before. If you're honest in the chat, or the people I could see, who's bought a course before or gone to an event, were really excited, but you didn't follow all the way through, right? You had an idea, but it didn't happen. A lot of times is we don't have the implementation tool. We don't know how to get it from here to make it real and out to the world. And Tony and I knew that. And on this journey of building this platform, I couldn't say it if it wasn't true. We've spent over $1 million, because we also went down the road and made it a little too complicated. We reversed engineer it, and oh my God, it's magic right now. You can pull this up. But we built the platform where you can literally do a course on your phone. You could film it and upload it on your phone. You could go live inside the platform. When you're done, hit a button and make it into a course. You can upload a course or videos you already have, and literally it's designed for me, because technology is not my friend. And you could literally have your course, your training, your mastermind up in no time. Listen, I'm 52. When I was in high school, it was the first age of computers, and our whole thing for the year, our assignment, was to make Santa Claus in little green dots walk across the screen. The world has changed a lot since then. So believe me, I like to make things simple, but it goes beyond that, because the platform creates a directory where your course will be available to people all around the world. We have thousands of people in there. There's been thousands of sales already. And you get people like, could you pull this up? Sarah, just in a few weeks, she did 14 sales teaching women how to kick ass on, what's the network? Pinterest. How to do better on Pinterest. Dina, she teaches women how to be in self-defense, and that led to more sales. Brian Cho, he'd been trying to be in this industry for over 15 years. He listed his course. He's one of our top sellers, teaching people how to be in this business. Brian's crushing it. I love his personality. And Gail, she had 11 people took her offer in the first couple days. Now, I'm going to disclaim this again. I'm not saying that you're going to put up a course, do nothing, set it and forget it, and wait for the money to come rolling in. These are people who took it serious. They overcame their insecurities. They overcame imposter syndrome. They overcame their friends and family told them they were nuts. They went through the course. They uploaded and they went through the process. They're also marketing on their own, and they made sales. And that's not just a few people. Literally, it's nonstop. There's sales coming in every single week, and we're so happy with what we built. So what we built was your implementation tool, the software to make it real, that you could take everything you learned and get it out to the world. We're going to give you 3 months for free. Just use it, get it up, and make sure it's everything we say. So you can pull this slide up. So right now we're at $5,838 in value, in real value. The blueprint, where you get the mindset, the tools, the tactics, the World Summit, which is your immersion and your mastery, and then you get the bonus 3 months. So then, here's what I also know, because we've been in this for 60 years, but we've been sharing it now for a little over 2 years. Sometimes we know that you need the help after buying the course, after being enrolled, to make sure you follow through, to answer any questions that you have, to keep the momentum going forward. So we designed a 6-week post-purchase training that walks you through the 6 different modules. It is absolutely amazing, and it leads to, and you can pull this up, it leads to the highest graduation rate we've ever seen in our lives. People from all over the world graduating. But what's graduation mean? That you're moving on to making this real in your life. And there's one more thing that's a byproduct. If you guys get enrolled, whether you get enrolled tonight or get enrolled in this course, I want you to know, immediately you're going to want to go in the Facebook group. It is the greatest community that exists of people supporting people. You have doubts, you go in the community. You have a breakthrough, you go in the community. Having a question, you go in the community. Not only the support for our team, this has grown unbelievably, it's grown exponentially, and I surprise people, and I go live in there on a weekly basis, and it's become an extended family. So when you pull this up, we've never sold that. We could put some crazy price on it, but it's priceless to have that 6-week training and be a part of that community. So we're already up to, again, $5,800 in value. And then we did one more piece here that I think was so powerful. We heard what people asked for. So Tony and I reached out to our friends that were really good in these areas people wanted, and we got these experts to do mini courses for you in 4 main categories. Number 1 is Stu McLaren. Now, I've paid Stu for consulting. He gets $35,000 a day, and he teaches you how to build communities, like what we built with KBB, a bonded community that you want to stay and be a part of. It's a priceless commodity to know in today's world. He built a mini course on how to build a community, if that's something you ever want to do. John Lee Dumas teaches people, and he's an OG when it comes to podcasts. Maybe it's something you never want to do, but if you ever want to do a podcast, you want to learn from John Lee Dumas. Pete Vargas is a sweetheart of a guy. He's a dear friend of mine. He teaches you how to get virtual stages. I'm on a virtual stage. He teaches you how to find stages where there's already people so you can go share what it is you do. Pete gets $40,000 a day. That's a true story. Couldn't say it if it wasn't true. He built a mini course on how to present and get virtual stages. And last, Rachel Miller. You're going to fall in love with Rachel Miller. I promise you. She teaches you how to get your first 100 raving fans on Facebook, to build your Facebook group. It is absolutely brilliant. It's the coolest strategy you've ever seen in your life. Again, you get all of these, instant access to these trainings. Each one of these could be worth the whole price of the course. Again, we put priceless on that because we've never charged for it before, but they are the numbers these people get. And here's what we're doing right now. Because the world has shifted, because of this crazy time in the world, because we know the world needs this, Tony and I are doing something today that we've only done one time before. We've literally sold, you can pull this up, we've literally sold this course and the bonuses for $1,997, not $5,800, but $1,997, and we've sold over 35,000 people into this course, and they absolutely love it. If there's anybody on here that's watched it, they wouldn't even feel bad that we're doing a discount today. And we're only doing a discount because we want more people to see their full potential, to tap into what lives here, to unleash that asset, to make self-education the new norm. So pull that back up, Mike. So today, if you go to the link that's on this page, or getkbbnow.com, I hope that's the right URL. I think it's getkbbnow.com. My team will put the link in here. You can get the entire course. And let's go through this. You get the Knowledge Broker Blueprint, $5,000 value. You get the World Summit live event tickets. That's the VIP. They are $700 tickets. That's what anybody will pay for these tickets. Literally, they're almost the value of the whole thing. You get 3 months of the implementation tool to make it real up on mastermind.com, to be out in the directory, to see this is something that you want to be in. You'll get the 6-week walkthrough, and you'll get the marketing bundle today for $997. Again, it's a price we've only done one time before in the last 2 years. It's a price we probably will never do again. We're literally just opening this up because we want more people to see their full potential. And here's the cool part. It comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee. If this isn't like, holy crap, the greatest thing in my life, thank you for saying I paid $19.97 and you're not mad. Because we just want you to see what is available to you. And we wanted, Tony and I decided 2 weeks ago, let's do a special. And now this is a price that's not going to stay here. I promise you. It's one of those things you come back in a day, 3 days, and be like, oh, I missed it, right? And we'd hate that. But we threw in one more bonus to push you over the edge. And that is my dear friend, Jenna Kutcher. She has the #1 podcast in the world in marketing. It's called Goal Digger. She is amazing. This is a girl who's in the knowledge industry. And I'm not saying you're going to do this, but she has a 7-figure knowledge industry business. She lives at home. She has the most balanced life I've ever seen in my life. She started in corporate America. She decided she hated it. She bought a camera off of eBay. She went in the wedding photography business, crushed that. And now she started teaching women how to be in the wedding photography business, and then just started teaching women how to be more successful, grow their businesses, grow their lives. And now she's one of the top influencers on the planet. All step by step. Did it happen overnight? Heck no. Was she scared to death? Absolutely. From Minnesota, she said, who would listen to me? But now her voice is heard all around the world, and she's amazing. So I got together with her and created a mini course on how to time manage. She's a mom of a beautiful little girl, Coco. She's a wife. She's a business leader. How does she juggle it all? She teaches how to make it real and find the time in your life. And she teaches you how to get your first trading done in 30 years. It is absolutely brilliant. Again, I'm going to just call it priceless because we've never sold it before. But that's everything you get today. You get the Knowledge Broker Blueprint course. I think the value is $5,000. You get the World Summit ticket. $697 is what we sell those tickets for. You get 3 months of the, that should be $141. You get 3 months of mastermind.com, the implementation tool to make it real. You get the 6-week walkthrough, the mini course, mini marketing bundle with the experts, and you get Jenna Kutcher special training, over $5,800 in value. Today, click the link below or get KBB now for just $997. And I know they created a multi-pay. I don't think we could have done it any better. Again, over 3,500 people have spent $1,997. So here's what we're going to do. And I want you to think about this. In a moment, what we're going to do is I'm going to take a 3-minute break, and I want to share some regular people who've done extraordinary things by being a part of KBB. While that's playing, go get enrolled. Go to the link, get engaged. And when we come back, I'm going to do Q&A, and then Mr. Tony Robbins has a message for you guys that you cannot miss. Again, I'll answer your top questions. So if you have questions, put it in the chat. My team will take them and give them to me. But I just want to end it with this. If you're someone that would love to make an impact, I don't know anything better. You know, Tony and I both on stage for years have asked people, at the end of your life, if you can make a massive amount of impact or create massive success in your life, which one would you choose? And what I love about KBB in this industry is you don't have to choose. We get the chance to help other people, extract what we know, share that commodity, that asset, or be the reporter of knowledge, impact people's lives, and create success for ourselves in an industry that's exponentially growing. I know you could probably figure it out on your own in the next 2, 3, 4 years, or you could gain the knowledge from 2 guys that have been in it for 60 years, who took this on as a passion project to help make self-education the new norm, to help people who are ready to go to another level, to share what they know. And in the meantime, we created a movement, and we'd love for you to be a part of that movement. So we're going to play that quick reel right now. Click the link below or go to getkbbnow.com. Get enrolled. We'll play this quick clip. I'll come back, do some quick Q&A, and then a message from Tony Robbins. Be right back.
It's been a crazy journey because it changed everything.
Without
having the credentials and the expertise, I don't know that I don't think I ever could have done this.
When I saw other people in the course that were having success, and I thought, if one can do it, so can many. Why not me?
You know, I had to make the decision, was I going to go into KBB or not? And I remember being scared out of my mind.
I wish that this existed when I had first started. And then when I started going through it, I realized that you had a greater structure and greater support than what I had experienced before.
Anybody else out there that's thinking about whether or not they should do this, do it. You have to burn those boats. Just go for it.
KBB really taught me the process of extracting this hidden treasures that I possess and that other people possess, like everybody on here. And how do you package it in a way that can be delivered to the masses?
I was able to impact 100 people. It was a 3-month course that I launched.
And I had lost everything. I was a single mom. I had 3 kids. My son had passed away. He died in my arms. I really just kind of shut down emotionally, and it made me shut down financially. I lost my only source of income. I went through bankruptcy, foreclosure, tax audits. I even had to go to tax court, and I had to defend myself in federal tax court, and I won on all charges. I paid off all my debt.
You know, I spent the past 10 years, you know, building a career that, to be honest, was someone else's dream.
Once you get involved in this amazing community and this amazing family that Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins have created, if you take that step and you jump and you throw everything at it, there's so many people that are willing to help you and inspire you and give you the answers that you don't know. None of us knew any of these answers. Like, my wife and I are not tech people at all, like at all. But you guys did such an amazing job that it enabled us to not only understand it for ourselves, but then to go teach that to other small business owners.
I'm the only parent, so I'm the only person who can do that. I have to bring him to school, pick him up. So I have very little time to work, actually. And I didn't know how I was going to do it in less hours. And now I'm able to do it. So I'm able to spend a lot of time with my son, and I'm able to work.
It's coming from someone who had no idea what they were going to do when they first started, had been trying to do things for 15 years, and had made $0 at that point in my life. You know, trying all sorts of different things, and suddenly everything was just happening this 1 month.
Not only is anything possible, but it's plausible, and there's a process to show you exactly how to do it.
I saw also other single moms who are doing it, and I thought, okay, if they're doing it, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to see where I end up, and yeah, it turned out really well.
What you and Tony have created is a PhD level course on exposure.
My marriage is better than it's ever been. My life is better than it's ever been. I'm a better mom than I've ever been.
You thought enough in your life, and a lot of your thoughts, which are all the way up here, stops you from the impact that you were really, truly created for. So what I'm going to tell you right now, stop thinking, just do it.
Hey guys, you know, I don't get sick of watching those, because the work and energy that Tony and I put into this, it's the greatest gift in the world. And it's something that I know some of you are thinking about it, or some of you have enrolled. But I want you to know there's no greater gift than being able to do something that changes people's lives, like you got to see. And watching my students, and Tony and I's students, be able to share what they know and impact other lives and create success. It's the most addicting thing in the world. It's why I come here and can speak for 90 minutes. It doesn't happen overnight, but I can speak here through passion, because I know what we get to do for people. And it's a business. When Tony took my money and it changed my life, it changed me forever. I'm like, I can be in an industry to help people and scale and be able to do cool things. I'm all in. And that's why I get excited. That's why I'm passionate. That's why I'm enthusiastic. That's why I'm here, is because I know the potential we all have. And there's a million things you could do. And there's a million things you can sell if you want to start or scale a business. But man, to be able to do something that's not a widget or selling bottles or plastic or something that sits on Amazon, to be able to sell the assets that live in here and help people, it is the greatest gift in my life. It is the greatest benefit, and I feel blessed every day that I get to live this, do this, and be this. And for those of you who decide to work with us, I can't wait to help see you grow into this. We had some questions, and then we'll get to Mr. Tony Robbins here in a moment. But I wanted to answer some of these to make sure I don't miss out. Lindsay asked, will this help me scale if I'm already in the business? Lindsay, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of people who are doing this. I want you to think about this. There's a lot of people who are coaches. Anybody in here in the chat, anybody's a coach or has done coaching? Great. We see some hands and we see some people in the chat. I love coaches. Coaches have changed my life, but a lot of times when you're a coach, you're in the time and effort community. You're still trading time for money. If you even get $100 an hour, you still got to work an hour to get that $100, which is incredible, but it's not scalable. You can't get exponential growth. What I want to share with you, Lindsay, is this is something Tony and I have kind of done, starting with nothing, scaling it to bigger than probably anybody in this industry, is we know how to impact more lives, how to replicate, how to, right now I'm training hundreds of people all around the world, and impactful, right? How do you multiply what you're doing and grow your business exponentially? Yes, this is, anybody in this industry must have KBB. Just look at the people. I mean, somebody like Lewis Howes is a dear friend. He got KBB, lost his mind. Jenna Kutcher, the reason she loves KBB so much is because she got the course and it literally took her business to another level. So from beginners are already in this course, absolutely. Dawn asked, is there anything else I would need to get started? Absolutely not. This is everything you need. I know, and it's a great question, Dawn, because I know there's courses and trainings you probably bought through the years. It's like, you bought this, but now you need this, and you need this, and you need this. It's the reason we built the software, the implementation tool, the 6-week training, the course. It's why we're inviting you to the event. Listen, everybody, I want you to know this right now. Everybody who bought the KBB course at $2,000, I want you to know, none of them had a ticket included. All of them bought a ticket to the World Summit, and the World Summit sold out. So know that this is the package that we've literally never done before. We did this exact package we've never offered ever before in the history of the world at this price. I just want you to know that's a true story. Okay, Jessica asked, I'm not Tony or Dean, nor do, maybe sometimes good for you, nor do I want to be that big. Can I still do this? I want to help people on a small level. Of course. I mean, I think you probably know that, but maybe your heart really needs to hear it. Of course you do. I mean, of course you can. It's where everybody starts. We all started helping one person. And you know what's a cool way to look at this? What if there's just one person right now? Just one person right now that needs what you know. That's great. I hope you impact millions of lives. But what if there's just one person right now struggling or trying to figure it out or going to do it on their own? They're at that cliff looking down and you get to change their life. How would that feel? And I think when you look at it through that lens, you realize that you're really just helping one person at a time, and you can ramp this up as much as you want. The only thing I'll tell you, Jessica, it's addicting. As soon as you start helping people, you're going to want to read the sections on how to grow this. Alex asked, will this keep me if I want to partner with someone else? Will this help me if I want to? Of course. I keep saying of course. I'm just so excited about this. We have so many people partner. Sometimes people partner, meaning, and we have so many students doing this, that they are the ones that have the course and they learn it intimately. And then they partner with somebody who might already have a following or an expert or someone that loves to speak in front of somebody else. So you're the person that puts it all together. Like the one gentleman from South America. He put it all together because he had our course and he just got a bunch of chefs to do the delivery. He partnered with the chefs. They shared the revenue. They all did well, right? So yes, absolutely. Jim asked, I'm not very good at technology. It usually trips me up. Yeah, me too, Jim. And that's why you'll see that we built this course for everybody, everyday people, to make it real. Because listen, all of us have way too many apps on our phone that we don't use because it only takes one little piece of complexity to go, I love it, that's a pain, I'm out, right? So we obsessed on it. And I'll be honest with you, Jim, I'm going to tell you the truth. We spent over $1 million on the first version of the software. And after a year and 3 months in, we kind of shifted and started over. It was magical, but it was a little too complex. Does that make sense? Could you see how that can happen without even realizing it? And we realized, Tony and I backed up, started over, got a whole nother new team, and what we built now is absolutely magical. So great question, because I understand it, but we get it. And Sarah asked, I don't think I have any skills or knowledge to teach. Yeah, that's probably the biggest one. And I think you're wrong, because if you're on this earth, you've gone through experiences, you've solved problems, you've done well. But if not, then obsess and be the reporter of something. Del Jane did something that she just loved to do in the foo-foo industry, the energy, the alignment, right? That was something she was passionate about, right? Think about, I know I'm using the same stories because I shared them with you, but think about Jamie. She's not a doctor. She's not even a nurse. And she doesn't know how to heal anything. You know, she couldn't help your kidneys. She couldn't help you out of the flu. But she could help that one area of eczema because she obsessed so much on it. So I'd really love for you to think of something that you've experienced, but also what's something that you love and you can be the reporter on. All right, guys, I'm so excited that you guys are here. Thank you. We've shared so much. Now I want to take a few minutes. I think we got Mr. Tony Robbins has a message to share with you guys. Every time I hear Tony, I just sit and take notes. His voice just mesmerizes me. So we're going to have Mr. Tony Robbins on, then I'll come on and we'll sum it up and we'll end. And for those of you who became a part of KBB, we'll see inside the Facebook group and being part of the family. But I'm not going away yet. I'll be back soon as Tony's done. Do we have Tony here?
Thank you, Dean. Welcome, everybody. Listen, I just want to acknowledge Dean for a second. Dean and I have been dear friends for over a decade. And, you know, he comes across as such a nice guy, and he is. He's even nicer in person than he is here. He's one of the most generous souls I know, but he's also brilliant. And the brilliance didn't come from just being a genius. He earned that genius because for 20 years, he's put his nose to the grindstone, and he's obsessed with finding ways to do the same thing I believe in. That's why we're such dear friends. Finding a way to do more for others than anybody else in the category. How do you add more value? If you want to know the secret to success in life and in business, it's do more for others than anybody else in the category, and you will build a brand, and people will start to seek you out. And, you know, he's got 20 years of experience. Between us, we have almost 65 years of experience. This is my 44th year training and teaching people. Now, at that point, I'd have to know something. I have to be an idiot at this point not to know there are patterns that will cause you to succeed and patterns that will cause you to fail. It's not you, it's patterns, it's habits. Habits of thinking, habits of motion, habits of action or inaction. So I just want to tell you, if you change those basic patterns, you can not only change your own life, but you can help so many other people do the same. And so I really want to thank you, Dean. And I just want to tell all of you, between us, 64 years, I guess, is the real number. That's how much experience we have. So there's two ways to learn in life. One is learn by your own experience. That's really painful because there's so many ups and downs, you may not get there. And the other is what I learned years ago when I studied Jim Rohn, my original teacher. He used to say, Tony, success leaves clues. If you want to be successful, find someone who succeeded again and again, not for a day, not for a week, not for a year, for a decade. They're not lucky. Sow the same seeds, you'll reap the same rewards. It doesn't matter your age, your background, your gender, your color. All it matters is that you model what works. And he said, also figure out what failures do and don't do that, right? So for 44 years, that's what I've been doing and sharing it. I first used it to change my own life, and then I changed it to help other people change their life. So I got a question for you, though. If you had to pick between making lots of money and having a life that feels meaningful, impactful, where you're making a difference in other people's lives and you see it and feel it and get that emotional feedback from people all around you, which would you pick? I mean, there is no limit to the size and scope of what you can do in this industry. But what changed me, what allowed me to not only have the impact and the economics be successful for me and for all of my employees, was constantly using the power of self-education. See, if you think about what really shapes your life most, it's what I call invisible forces. That's not being cute. It's just true. What influences your life the most? Things you take for granted. Gravity. Too much and you're crushed. Too little and you float away and you're dead. Radiation. Radiation is what makes life happen. The right amount of radiation from the sun, we're in this Goldilocks spot as a planet, and we have life everywhere. Too much radiation, we fry. And then you can think about things like electricity. You can light up a city or kill somebody. Depends on the amount of intensity and where it goes. But maybe the most important invisible forces of all are human emotions, love and hate. See, emotions determine what you're going to do or not do and the quality that you're going to bring to it. And so all of this can be shifted through one single power, which I call self-education. I mean, think about it. I started out in a family where no one had ever succeeded in business or finance in any way, shape, or form. We had tremendous challenges in the relationships of my family. I have 4 different fathers, to give you an idea. My mom was a good human being, but we were always broke. My father's worked hard. We had no money for food. Some of you know I feed more than 100 million meals a year here in the United States. I committed to feed 1 billion people over 10 years, and we're in our 7th year, and we're already over 700 million meals. We're ahead of schedule. We're going to feed 1 billion people. But all that came because I went without, and I had to figure out what to do, and there were no role models for me around me. So my role models started with audio programs and books, and then seminars. My original teacher, Jim Rohn, that I mentioned, and I started learning and growing. And it took me from a kid with no compelling future, no plan, no strategy, my traditional education couldn't get me where I wanted to go. My parents were frustrated and overwhelmed. There was so much upset, so lack of certainty about the future or even the present. And sometimes no food. That's why I feed people. And all that turned around so that over the last, 43, this is going to be my 44th year doing this now. I've just begun. In 44 years, I've had the privilege and the joy and the incredible experience of coaching millions of people around the world to improve their life physically, in their bodies, their energy, their vitality, in their relationships, in their finances, in their business, in their career, and also just in their emotional well-being and fitness and passion and aliveness. And I've worked with everybody you can imagine. I've worked with 5 different presidents, all the living presidents and ones that have passed. I've worked with 4 different royal families now. I've worked with everybody from Serena Williams, to give you an idea, to Pitbull. I mean, just across the board, some of the greatest sports teams, athletes, entertainers on earth. And all that privilege came from a kid who had zero background but decided, I'm going to self-educate. I'm not going to have a standard education, because we all know the education system is broken. How many people do you know have all this massive student debt? And you know what? 73% of the people who go to college and get a 4 or extended your degree, bachelor's or going to doctorate, anything of that nature, 73% of them do not even work in an industry related to what they went to college for, of which they spend $30,000 to $50,000 a year, something $200,000, $300,000 in debt. For what? And most of them, even doing this, more than half say they're completely unfulfilled by what they do. So what's the solution? The solution is not just a traditional education. By the way, that education cost has gone insane. In 20 years, it's up 800%. Do you know we have 115 universities here in the United States that have over $1 billion endowment? They're basically hedge funds attached to a school. That's really what it is. And they're charging ridiculously because we all guarantee the loans. That's why student debt now is bigger than credit card debt. $1.5 trillion. For what? So if you and I want a different life than the average person, we got to do something other people don't do. So many people are now going to vocational schools, which is fantastic. You can make over $100,000 being a plumber in many cities in the United States right now. Electricians, the opportunities are there, but most people don't know what they are. But if you decide to become self-educated, you can start to do what I've done throughout my life. You can start to compress decades into days, where you can learn in a few weeks, a few months, or a few days what might have taken somebody by trial and error 10 or 20 years to learn. That's what I learned from my teacher, Jim Rohn. Success leaves clues. So why would you spend all the time and energy trying to reinvent the wheel if someone's already got a proven pathway to power, a proven pathway to success? And so in order to do that, you got to learn by other people's experience, not your own. And if you'll do that, you'll find yourself in a place where you're looking for people that really get results. Not somebody who can talk a good game, but who can deliver it. And once you learn it, once you learn something that can change your body, your emotions, or your kids, or your relationship, or get rid of acne, there's so many self-education opportunities. I think we have like 6,500 categories now all over the world. We've got people from 100 different countries that are participating with our KBB programs, and they're all sharing their experience with each other and learning and growing and earning. But how cool is it to learn something that totally changes your life? What's the first thing you want to do when you have a great experience of anything that just is beautiful in your life, that changes your life? The first thing you want to do is share with someone you love, right? Well, what if you could learn to share it? You could literally learn how to share it, practice it, do it all within a system in a few moments, like doing just a live mastermind, learn from each one, get better and better, and be part of a community where you're learning also how to market it, and not just how to create it and design it, but then a system that helps you to market it and then deliver it and keep getting better and better and better every time. In the beginning, I was a knowledge broker. We didn't call it then, but it's like I went to work for Jim Rohn. This man, I saw his 3.5-hour seminar. I was blown away by who he is. I didn't have those skills. but I wanted everybody to experience what I'd experienced. So I went to work for him. I convinced them to let me come work for him. I was just a kid, 17. And I learned how to go out. And in those days, it was hard to promote. I mean, you had to print real brochures and they cost you a lot of money. And I remember I went to go do my first seminar after I promoted Jim Rome for a lot of years. I learned it. Then I decided I wanted to do my own. I ran all these ads, and cost a lot of money. I had to do it in the LA Times. I was doing it in Los Angeles, the Herald, Examiner, all these magazines and newspapers. And then I rented a room at the Hilton Hotel in downtown LA. And I thought for sure, it's a free seminar. I wasn't even trying to make money. I just wanted to help people. I thought for sure I'm going to get at least 500 people to show up. Spent all this money, all this time, and 7 people showed up, and they were spread out all over this giant room. I was like, why don't you all come down to the front row here? That's how I started. And I gave them everything I could for 3.5 hours. Probably killed these poor people, right? Because I was ready for 500 and 7 were there, but I gave my all. And you know what's interesting? It built. Because I did that, they told other people, and it got better, and it got bigger, and it got bigger. So this is not some overnight get-rich-quick scheme. If you want that, go to some BS person who's going to lie to you. But if you want to create a career path that you could do part-time on the side, or COVID's got in the way, you want a new business, and you want to learn how to be able to learn, grow, share, give, and earn, I don't know a better opportunity, and I know a better industry. So the size of the market is huge, and you can do it from wherever you are, and you can get your feet wet. You can do it with a small number of people, 8 or 10. You can do it with a mastermind, or you can promote somebody else. So if you want to take advantage of the combined 64 years of knowledge the two of us have and the privileges we have to be able to make a difference to people all over the world, the emotional joy that we get from it, and the economic freedom as well, then you got to get yourself educated about the self-education system. You got to learn. And how do you do that? We're offering it to you today. So those who've already made the decision, congratulations. Those who haven't, I hope I can push you over the edge. And my passion for this is I want you to experience the privilege I've had for over my 44th year. It's wild. So what do you got to do? Simple. Just suspend your fear and tap into some courage. I saw a movie one time, I don't remember what it was, but they had this phrase I thought was so good. They said, all it takes is 15 seconds of courage to change your whole life. It's like you're scared shitless, but you just do it anyway. Courage, by the way, doesn't mean you're not afraid. Courage means you're scared, but you do it anyway. That's the only reason I'm here. I've had so many times where it seemed impossible, but I pushed through it and I kept educating myself and I kept giving and learning and giving and learning and growing and giving and learning. And then all of a sudden you wake up and boy, your life is greater than your dreams. But most people just dream. They don't do anything. So if you want to be someone who actually lives your dream, there's only one answer: massive action. How do you do it? Suspend your fear or keep feeling it, but push your courage forward and just take action anyway. And put yourself in a position where you just start to adopt a belief that there are answers. In the middle of COVID, you get conditioned after a while to start feeling like you don't have any control of your life. You're right if you believe that. But listen, if you believe there is a way, I'm going to find the way, and there are people that have already done it, you're going to show you, and then you take action on it, you're going to get momentum, you're going to start to grow, and you're going to start to create a new pathway. So if you want a compelling 2021, it's time. Make a decision right now here to join us, and don't just decide. Get yourself, hit the link, get yourself enrolled, and get started. Because in life, the only thing that really shapes us is decisions. It's not your conditions. We all have horrible conditions at times. We've all been through hell. If you haven't been through it, you probably will in the future. How's that for a compelling future? But we all are. We're all going to have tough, stressful times. That's the one thing that's universal. If you're rich or poor, you're going to have it. If you have a great family or not, you're going to have super stressful times. Life happens. The question is, what are you going to do with it? And most people look for a reason why they haven't succeeded, but a small number of people say, I'm going to find the way. And one thing I've learned in my life is grab the opportunity. If you're hearing me right now and you've heard Dean right now and you put yourself in this position, there's a reason. And it's not just sit back on your bum and do nothing. I don't think. You have to decide. But if you take action, I can promise you, you're going to open a door to a new world. That's what this KBB business is all about. So I hope I've stimulated your interest. And Dean, thanks for letting me jump on with all of you for a few short moments. But in the end, it's your decisions, not your conditions, that shape your life. So choose well and choose right now. In the meantime, I hope I get a chance to meet you and become part of our family. But whether you do or not, I wish you only the best. Live strong, live with passion, and God bless.
Yeah, I still, literally, Tony's voice mesmerizes me, and he truly cares. You know, there's one of those sayings that be careful when you meet your heroes. Tony was my hero because he put me in this industry. When I got to meet him, I realized he's an incredible human behind the scenes. He does more for the world than anyone would know, doesn't brag about, doesn't talk about. And it's an honor and a privilege to have him as a partner. And it's great to be able to be on this journey and help so many people get in the knowledge industry. There's a couple quick questions here that I just wanted. I saw so much in the chat. Yes, there's a payment plan. There's a payment plan today that you could get started for under $300 today. So if you haven't, get KBB now. You could get started for under $300 and you have instant access to everything. Everybody asked how the course goes. Everything we talked about, you have instant access to. Yes, truly, this offer goes away. This is not, pretend it goes away. This is a price. This is an offer that will absolutely go away. So that's a true story. If you know a thing about Tony and I, we stick to what we say. Yes, you get instant access. And then so many people asked about the World Summit. Yes, it's a real VIP ticket to the most amazing event. You will have your seat reserved, even if we sell out. In fact, I'm going to take just 60 seconds here. I want to play a quick little reel of the event so you can understand what this is about, because I think this will help with all your questions. And I'll come back. We'll sum it up. Got one more surprise for you. I'll be right back. Play that.
A 3-day, 40-hour, full immersion event with two of the greatest success coaches to ever walk this planet, and that's Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi.
Welcome to the World Summit. You guys ready for a great 3 days? I'm sitting here with 8,000 of you amazing people. If you're here, you're ready for more. And I want to thank you from my heart.
You're committing a weekend of your life to improve yourself and to look at how you can be in business or take your business to the next level.
Good for you, but I don't have a superpower. I am going to give you 3 different ways for you to uncover and discover your superpower.
I was like, do you understand what I went through to learn these things for you? Like, if you understood what I went through.
Listen, please don't experience death knowing you settle for less.
You should be hyper-focused on your audience. Whether you have an audience of 1 person across the table from you, 1 person on the telephone, 10 people on a Zoom call, or 100 people in a room. Pay attention to your audience.
Open your mind to say, I'm not settling for who I am today. There is another level. Who's got another level in them?
You're all wanting to make something perfect before you begin. You want to make sure it's the perfect completed process. If I did that, I'd never be here.
It might feel a little uncomfortable because it's getting real. It is time to launch. It is time to enter. It is time to scale.
I literally felt like I was sitting next to people in my living room.
Thanks so much for having this
event. You guys just did an amazing job. It was a wonderful event, and I'm so grateful that I was able to attend.
I'm so grateful that I made that investment in me, because that investment is going to help change the world.
So that's the World Summit. I don't have to describe it anymore. And yes, you get a VIP ticket. There is a general admission ticket, and there's a VIP ticket. You get the VIP ticket as part of this bundle. And yes, we've never, the people who spent $2,000 for this offer didn't get that ticket. Again, we just wanted to create something special here for you today. And what I want to do is, one more time quick, I'll go through what it is you get today, because we had so many great questions on it. And then it's up to you to see if it's time, like Tony said, take that moment of courage to say, yes, I'm ready for another level, and allow us to show you the path, right? We can't make you successful, and we're not promising overnight riches. But if you're still here and you spent almost 2 hours with us and you're intrigued about your next level, we'd love to invite you to be a part of KBB. And you can pull that slide up. It's the KBB course. I'm going to go through it really fast because I already have. But it's 4 main modules. And those 4 main modules are, 1 is to give you the unstoppable mindset from who better than that guy, Tony Robbins, to make sure you don't give up on you. Literally, people say the first module is worth the whole price of the course. But the second module is, how do you uncover what you're going to share and have confidence in this and know your superpower and who you're going to teach it to and how to teach it, and then the tools to anchor it in. And the third module, we teach you how to turn marketing into service so you love it and you have all the different avenues. I call it the wagon wheel, the different ways to use social media to bring the right people to your course, training, mastermind, workshop, your live Zoom, or have your platform up on mastermind.com. In the fourth module, we teach you how to do it. How do you take all that and ethically get it out to the world in an ethical, delightful, elegant way? And that's what we've done, right? We talked about, and we could pull this slide up. We talked about the course, right? Yes, Tony and I are blessed to get paid a lot for the things we do, only because we've been in it for so long, and we give people the shortcut to go faster. You're really paying for speed. Let's just be honest here. A lot of this stuff you could figure out on your own. You're paying to go faster from two people who have 60 years in. So we put a price of $5,000 on this as we build. The next slide here, I think you know what the World Summit is now. You just saw it. I don't have to say anything more. You get that $695 ticket. Your spot is reserved. It's yours. We're already at $5,600 in value. Then you get 3 months to use our platform that literally took us over $1 million to get here, to make it simple, to take all that and implement, right? We said we needed the mindset, we need the tools, the tactics, we need the immersion, which is the event. But then you need the implementation. That's what Mastermind is. That's how you get this out to the world. And that's where you'll be driving people to find your course or your training. You get 3 months of that. Of course, we have great people who are having success like that. And again, I'm not saying you're just going to put a course up and get rich. This is just great people who put the work in, and they made the course, they made the sales, and the joy I see in their faces of finally doing this and making it real is what drives Tony and I. We're at $5,800 in value. You get the 6-week training to make sure you graduate. We got so many great people graduating. You'll be a part of the class. You'll be a part of our weekly trainings, be a part of our Facebook group where there's people supporting people. We call it our culture of progress. Again, we just said priceless on that. You get the experts, the traffic and scaling bundle from Stu and John and Rachel and Pete. Again, people go nuts over this bonus. We call that priceless as well. Listen, you get the Knowledge Broker Blueprint, the World Summit tickets, the 3 bonuses, over $5,800. And today, a price for $997. You can choose the multi-pay, which gets you started for under $300. And yes, I promise you, this price, this package does go away. You can go to getkbbnow.com or click the link below. Check out the offer. Get enrolled before you miss it. Yes, it comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee, and you get the extra bonus with Miss Jenna Kutcher that you're going to freak out about, how to balance, how to find the time, how to make it real. You guys are going to have access to all of this now. You get enrolled today, you'll be going through Tony's course tonight. If you wanted, when you were watching Tony, you said, I want more of it, you'll be able to do that today. Again, this is the bundle. This is the price. All of it today for $997, or choose the multi-pay. Get instant access to all of it. Guys, thank you so much for spending this time, spending 2 hours. I was hoping 90 minutes, but you never know when you just go after it, right? I don't have a script. I don't have a timer. I'm just here spending time with those of you who are looking for another level, looking to tap into your full potential, investigating what's possible. Again, there's no magic money machine here, but I do know this. Albert Einstein says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you'd like to try something different, if you'd like to learn from people who've already been there, if you'd love the opportunity to have impact and create impact and real success in your life, to unlock what's in here and share it with those who need it, we'd love to join you to be a part of this family, to take a ride, take a journey with us as we make self-education the new norm, impact people's lives, and create success when the world needs it most. Thank you guys for spending this time with me, and with Tony. We appreciate you so much. Get kbbnow.com or click the link below, and we'll see you on the inside. Bye, everybody.
keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't nothing left. Going till there ain't nothing. Keep the flame on. Gotta keep the flame